Wow, guys. So, chapter 1035. What a fire chapter. No pun intended. So much info was dropped in this chapter, but man, I just want to say before we start off with the discussion video on chapter 1035, because this chapter was very good, I just want to say sorry for the lack of videos recently, because I know all of us as the One Piece community, and not even the One Piece community, the anime community, we recently saw what Toei did with a big YouTuber known as Totally Not Mark. They blacklisted like 150 videos of his that consisted of One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, and so it's just made a whole lot of YouTubers on YouTube not want to post anything that's under Toei like One Piece, because Toei Animation has just been going crazy against anyone that talks about One Piece on YouTube for some reason. Even on Twitter, like if you post like an anime screen cap of One Piece or just have an anime profile picture of literally any character from the series, they'll try and suspend you and blacklist you off the app. So it's just like scary right now trying to be a One Piece YouTuber. But today, man, I just want to talk about One Piece chapter 1035 because it was a great chapter. So let's first start off with a cover story. So we see that Germa were able to escape Big Mom. And I like this a lot because now we see that Sanji's family is safe. They were able to get out. And it just makes me wonder. I hope we see how Jinbei escaped Big Mom too, because Jinbei arrived a little bit later after Big Mom. And now that we've seen that Germa were able to escape, I want to see Jinbei and his crew and how they were able to escape Big Mom before arriving on Wano. But after that, we get back to Sanji and Queen, and Sanji actually beats Queen. Like, I was actually surprised by this. So the Sanji versus Queen fight is already finished. Sanji was able to beat Queen, and it is actually really funny because I believe chapter 935 is named Queen, and this chapter is 1000. No, yeah, it's like 100 chapters later, and now it's called Queens Defeated, and it's just funny. Like Oda just did that. Like he just did that like as a coincidence that 100 chapters later he names it Queen is Defeated. But man, Sanji versus Queen, the fight is already finished. Like I was really hoping we get to see more of Queen pushing Sanji's buttons, but Sanji's low key powerful, bro. Imagine if he had all these plus the COC, bro. He'd be so broken. So I'm one of those guys that feel like Sanji doesn't need that because he's already shown that he's gotten a huge boost since we learned of his, his genetics that were shown in the previous chapters. But like, as I said before, Sanji versus Queen is done. And Sanji has a sweet moment with this girl named Osam, and then he passes out. So now we know that Sanji won, and the Sanji versus Queen fight is done for now. And also, another thing I noticed about Sanji is that his eyes, I mean, not his eyes, his eyebrows, they didn't switch back. So I feel like the modifications is fully done on Sanji's body. So that's just another small tidbit that I noticed with Sanji, that his eyebrows have stayed the same ever since we learned of his true modifications from the previous chapters. But after that, we go back to Zoro and King. And this part of the chapter was crazy because after Zoro slashes King, we learned that with King that when his flames disappear on his back, he becomes weaker. His defense is easier to break. But when he has the fire on his back, he can move faster. So Zoro's able to cut off King's face. I mean, not his face, his mask. And we see King's face. And when I saw King, I'm like, yo, this dude looks so good, bro. He's handsome, bro. Like, he reminds me of a Bleach character. You know, all the characters from Bleach, they all look good. Grimjow, Ichigo, Yoririchi, Unohana, they all look so good. This man is like a spitting image of a Bleach character, but in One Piece. It's so good. So, and we also learned about the features of the Lunarians. They have a dark-skinned face and skin. They have a white face, and they have some tattoo on their face. And we also learned that if you are able to capture them for the world government, you get a huge good bounty of 100 million berries. So with the world government issuing that type of bounty to the Lunarians, it just makes you wonder what makes the Lunarians so special that if the world government sees them or even knows of their whereabouts, they issue 100 million berries to them. Like there's so much that we want to know about the Lunarians. So as I said before, King looks so great, and of course because of the fact that his father's were giving us information about King. King disposes of them just like that, and so King really looks good, bro. I like the design, the tattoo all over his face, man. Like when we finally learn about the Lunarians, it's gonna be great, bro. Like what if the Lunarians are also from Skypea too, or they originate from the moon as well? Like there's so much theories about the Lunarians that they like years ago the world government wiped them out because we all know how the celestial dragons work. If they see a special type of race, like a fishman or any of these other races in the series, the Onis, they're gonna want them for themselves, and they've possibly found something interesting with the Lunarians. So they probably wiped them out when the Lunarians refused to be under them. Because as we know, as we learned from the previous chapters, Lunarians are considered to be godlike, and we know the celestial dragons are the only ones in the One Piece verse that want to be considered gods. So they possibly try to wipe out the Lunarians or something like that, or they probably kept them as slaves because as we learned from the later parts of this chapter, King was actually a test subject from the world government. Even Kaido too. So that just makes me wonder. And then that's another thing. Kaido was a test subject too, right? So what if Vegapunk used Kaido's DNA for Momonosuke's devil fruit? Because Momonosuke can transform into a dragon, right? What if Vegapunk used his DNA for Momonosuke's devil fruit too? Like this, there's just so much stuff that was dropped in this chapter. The fact that King was a test subject for the world government, it just makes Vegapunk look so shady, and it makes the world government's always been shady, but it makes Vegapunk look very shady. But man, and of course, Zoro amping all his attacks with COC was great too, man. Zoro went ham in this chapter, but the thing that really like makes me like go so crazy for this chapter is all the stuff with King, man. All the stuff with King. So we learned that he's also a Lunarian. The government will never let him go because he's part of a special race. Part of a special race that is possibly extinct now. He's possibly the only final member of the team. We also see a very young Kaido, and Kaido in this one shot, he reminded me so much of Goldie Roger. Like I really saw the parallel of Kaido and King with what's it called, Roger and Rayleigh. So it was great, and of course Kaido looks so young here, man. And of course, Kaido, he looks so like full of himself here. And now when we look at modern Kaido now, all he drinks is alcohol and he just wants to die now. So I feel like Kaido he didn't achieve what he wanted to achieve, like in this flashback where he was so hopeful that he could do what he needs to do to achieve what he wants to. I feel like Kaido has changed a lot since then, considering that he wants to die now. So it's just a whole lot of stuff with this chapter. And of course, we get more badass moments with Zoro. Zoro's hitting all kinds of new moves on King, and it ends with King transforming into a dragon and Zoro attacking him. And this reminds me a lot. Didn't Ryuma take down a dragon in his past? So this is just another like little cool like similarity right here. But man, this chapter was phenomenal. So Kaido being captured and experimented on in Punk Hazard all those years back, it is like amps up the theory that Vegapunk, as I said before in the video, that Vegapunk took Kaido's DNA and put it into Momonosuke's Devil Fruit, which would make perfectly sense because Momonosuke can transform into a dragon too. So this just makes Vegapunk look like suspicious, man. Like I can't wait when Oda finally reveals Vegapunk. It's gonna be huge for the storyline. It's gonna be so huge for the storyline, and of course King, man. I don't know if it's just my Bleach hype besides my One Piece hype, but he looks like a character from Bleach, bro. And then that's another thing. Like, I noticed so many similarities with Katakuri and King in this chapter too, man. Both of them having hidden mask and all that, and then we finally see the reveals, man. Their flashbacks is just so much, man. And Zoro was absolutely insane. Like I said, all of his attacks were coded in Conqueror's hockey, so it's just it's just amazing. Of course, King has one of the best designs in the series. Easily one of the best designs I've ever seen of any character, bro. I already know King's gonna be in everyone's top five or even top one best looking male characters in the series. For a long time, a whole lot of people consider it to be Ace or Mihawk, but feel like King's gonna be the number one now. So my highlights for this chapter were definitely the cover between Germa and the Fire Tank's Big Mom's group, because we learned that the Germa group, they're safe, and this just makes me wonder if we can see a chance of Jinbei escaping Big Mom too, because we know he later appeared in Wano after Big Mom. So, and then we also learned from this chapter that Queen is finally defeated. Like, I'm surprised that Oda's doing away with all these big fights. Sanji versus Queen is done. Frankie versus Sasaki is done. Most of the Todoroki fights are done, but we still have Raizo's fight. Like, like with this happening, we know that Raizo's fight is going to be legendary if Oda has not even tried going to his fight yet. And as I said before, with Sanji's eyebrow, it did not go back to normal after his fight. So I feel like it's not going to be resolved yet because Sanji's eyebrows now went back to his normal state. So it's just so much, man. And of course, the parallels between Zoro and Ryuma, because Zoro's trying to defeat a dragon, which is what King manifested into in the last part of the chapter. And of course, the research facility, man, like, there's just so much that we need to talk about from Punk Hazard. Like, what if it was originally a Mads territory that was later taken away by the world government? Like, but then again, it's a little too, like, what's the word? It's a little too tight with all the timeline. Like, but that's another thing, man. What if Mads was originally under the world government, and for some reason the world government decided to just annex it, be like, hey, Vegapunk, let's go, let's end this Mads organization. There's so much shady stuff that happened there. The fact that we learned that Kaido was tested on, the fact that we learned that King was also tested by the world government. There's just so much, and of course the Lunarians, bro. The Lunarians. We need to know more about the Lunarians, man. Like, where do they originate from? Like, no, we technically already learned that from the Red Line, but just the race. Like, what made them go extinct? Why is the world government so interested in them? Like, all that kind of stuff, man. The Celestial Dragons. Why are they so interested in King's race? I hope we learn all of that in the next chapter. But I feel like there's gonna be a break after this chapter. But 1035, man, it was great, man. It was a worthy time for a break, man. Like when you have that break, it just makes you more excited, more amped for the next One Piece chapter. And this chapter did not disappoint at all. Great chapter. We got possibly the best looking male character in the series with King, man. Literally a bleach character in One Piece as far as it goes for the design. And the Zoro versus King moments were amazing. The flashback of King and Kaido was amazing too. This scene, a young Kaido be so confident in himself, and then now looking at Kaido now, he's just like so depressed. Always drinks alcohol, wants to die so badly. He wants to look for the guy that's gonna kill him, and it's just like, what happened in Kaido's past to make him feel this type of way? And then the Sanji moments with Queen, man, I still can't believe Queen has been defeated, man. Like, I was honestly expecting it to go a little bit more, but hey, man, like, for all we know, Queen might come back. But then again, Oda literally wrote Queen defeated, and then Sanji's also knocked out too. So it's like that. But great chapter. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on chapter 1035. Did you enjoy it? What was your favorite moment from this chapter? And yeah, I would greatly like to discuss chapter 1035 with y'all down in the comments below. But man, this chapter was great. Great chapter. But like, yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel to help us out. And also hit the bell notification so you can know when I upload next. And man, as I said before, after this chapter, we're going to be on break again. And of course, Oda, take as much breaks as you want, because Oda continues to give us so much good content, man. It's amazing. But yeah, I hope y'all continue having a nice day, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.